The moment Nathan Pierce dragged his pregnant wife's suitcase to the front door and kicked her out to marry his billionaire boss, he believed he was finally stepping into the life he deserved. What he didn't know was that the same woman he threw into the streets was about to take over the very company he worked for. And in a matter of days, she would leave him completely homeless. If this opening shocked you already, like this video right now, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with someone who trusts love too easily, because this one cuts deep. The apartment was quiet except for the sound of rain hitting the windows in Seattle, Washington. Suitcases stood open on the floor. Clothes were scattered. And standing near the door with his arms crossed was Nathan Pierce, cold and unbothered. Across from him stood his wife, Elena Pierce, 8 months pregnant. Her hands trembled as she zipped the last bag. "You're really doing this?" she whispered. Nathan didn't answer. He just opened the door. "That's enough drama," he said flatly. "You need to leave." Elena's eyes filled with tears. "Where am I supposed to go?" she asked. Nathan shrugged. "You'll figure it out. You always do." Her stomach tightened painfully. "Is it because of her?" she asked quietly. Nathan's jaw tightened. "She's my future," he said without shame. "Not you." 3 years earlier, Nathan had no job, no money, no future. Elena remembered handing him her last savings and saying, "I'll carry us until you can stand." She had believed in him, supported him, loved him when no one else would. Back in the present, Elena stepped closer. "I'm carrying your child," she whispered. "How can you be this cruel?" Nathan laughed bitterly. "You trapped me with that pregnancy," he snapped. "And now I'm done being trapped." The door opened wider. A woman stepped into the doorway behind him. Tall, elegant, expensive. His boss, Vanessa Blackwood, a billionaire CEO. And now, his new bride-to-be. Vanessa's eyes drifted over Elena slowly. Then she placed a manicured hand on Nathan's chest and smiled. "You have 5 minutes," she said smoothly. "Then we're late for our engagement dinner." Elena felt the world collapse inside her. Vanessa turned to leave, but not before glancing back with quiet arrogance. "Oh," she added, "don't forget, the house is mine now too. Corporate benefit." Elena's legs nearly gave out. Nathan didn't argue. He didn't defend her. He simply said, "Time's up," and dragged her suitcase outside. If this man just made your blood boil, comment what you think should happen to him. Like this video if you believe betrayal like this deserves consequences. And share this story because karma is already on the move. The door slammed behind Elena. Rain soaked her hair. Her phone had 4% battery left. And her husband had just chosen power over love. Across town, inside a towering glass office building, the boardroom of Blackwood Industries was silent. Lawyers sat on both sides of a long table. At the head sat an older man in a hospital wheelchair. Richard Vale, founder, majority shareholder, Elena's estranged biological father, a man she had reunited with only months earlier. The lawyer spoke carefully. "Mr. Vale, as per your medical directive, if you do not recover in the next 30 days, your controlling shares will be transferred to your only legal heir." Richard's weak eyes lifted. "And that heir is?" The lawyer slid a file forward. "Elena Pierce." Richard closed his eyes. "She doesn't know," he whispered. "She doesn't need to," the lawyer replied. "Not yet." Back in the rain, Elena struggled to pull her suitcase down the steps. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She answered through trembling lips. "Yes." The voice on the other end was calm and professional. "Mrs. Pierce, this is the legal office of Richard Vale. We've been waiting for the right time to call you." Elena's breath caught. "Why?" The voice paused. "Because you are about to inherit controlling ownership of Blackwood Industries." Elena nearly dropped the phone. Meanwhile, Nathan sat beside Vanessa in a private restaurant overlooking the city. Champagne sparkled. He smiled proudly. To new beginnings, he said. Vanessa smirked. To leaving the weak behind. They clinked glasses. Neither of them realized they were drinking to the fall of their own empire. That night, Elena stood under streetlight with nowhere to sleep. Her phone finally died. But her future had just come alive. By the time Nathan woke up proud beside his billionaire bride, the company he worshipped would already belong to the woman he threw into the rain. Nathan woke up beside silk sheets and glass walls overlooking downtown Seattle. For a moment, he smiled. This was his new life. Power. Luxury. Vanessa. He turned toward her, about to kiss her shoulder. But his phone exploded with notifications. One call after another. Text messages. Missed calls. Emails. Vanessa frowned. Is the building on fire? Nathan frowned and reached for his phone. The first message made his stomach drop. Bro, the company is going crazy right now. Another one came in. Emergency board meeting called. Everyone's panicking. Nathan sat up. What does that mean? Vanessa asked, suddenly alert. I don't know, he said, already dialing his office. The call went straight to voicemail. Across the city, in a private hospital wing reserved only for executives, lawyers stood around Richard Vale's bed. The old man's breathing was shallow. Machines beeped softly. The senior attorney spoke quietly. The transfer has been prepared. All that remains is confirmation. Richard lifted one trembling hand. Begin it, he whispered. At the same time, Elena woke up on a narrow couch inside a women's shelter. Her back ached. Her stomach tightened with pregnancy pain. She barely slept. The counselor who had taken her in gently placed a cup of tea beside her. You're safe here, she said softly. Elena nodded weakly. Her phone was finally charging. At exactly 9 a.m., it rang. Unknown number. She answered. Yes. Mrs. Pierce, the calm voice said again from the night before. We need you to come in today. The situation has accelerated. Elena's heart raced. Accelerated how? The transfer may happen sooner than expected. Her hands began to shake. Back at Blackwood Industries, chaos erupted. Executives rushed through halls. Security tightened instantly. A red notice flashed on every employee screen. Mandatory emergency board session. All senior staff report immediately. Nathan arrived 10 minutes later, chest high with confidence as Vanessa walked beside him. People didn't greet them. They stared. Whispered. Vanessa's smile faded. This is my company, she snapped at a trembling assistant. Why is no one speaking? The assistant swallowed hard. Because, they're not sure it's yours anymore. The words hit like ice. Be honest, comment what you think is about to happen to Nathan right now. Like this video if you believe betrayal always comes back full circle. And share this story because the trap is already closing. Inside the boardroom, executives sat in silence as lawyers stood at the front. Nathan took his seat confidently. Vanessa sat at the head of the table like a queen. But one chair remained empty. The founder's chair. Nathan leaned toward Vanessa. This is probably just another scare tactic from the hospital. I told you he'd be gone soon. Vanessa said nothing. The door opened. 2 legal officers entered. Behind them, a wheelchair rolled slowly forward. Richard Vale. Still alive. Everyone stood instantly. Nathan's mouth went dry. Vanessa's face stiffened. Richard lifted his hand weakly. Sit. The room obeyed. The senior attorney spoke loudly. By directive of the majority shareholder, an emergency ownership transfer is being initiated under medical authority. Vanessa laughed nervously. That's not possible. I hold executive control. The attorney didn't even look at her. You hold executive authority, he corrected. Not ownership. Nathan's breath hitched. The attorney continued. The controlling shares are being transferred to the legal heir. Vanessa leaned forward sharply. And who exactly is that? The attorney opened a folder. The name hit the screens across the boardroom. Elena Pierce. Complete silence. Nathan felt his blood drain from his face. No, that's not real, he whispered. Vanessa stood up violently. That's my employee's wife. The attorney's voice was ice cold. Not anymore. At that exact moment, Elena stood outside the towering Blackwood building, looking up at the glass walls. Her phone buzzed. A final message from the lawyer. It's time. Her heart pounded. Back inside the boardroom, Richard Vale struggled to speak. My daughter, he whispered, was cast out last night. Pregnant. Homeless. His eyes lifted slowly. And today, she will take back everything. Nathan's legs began to shake. Vanessa's nails dug into the table. The door to the boardroom opened again. And this time, a pregnant woman stepped inside. Nathan locked eyes with Elena across the room, and realized the woman he threw into the rain now owned his entire world. The boardroom went silent as Elena Pierce stepped inside. Pregnant. Calm. Unbroken. Every executive turned toward her. Nathan's face went completely white. Elena, he whispered. Vanessa spun around in disbelief. What is she doing here? Richard Vale's weak voice filled the room. She is here, he said, because she is my daughter. The room exploded in shock. Nathan staggered backward. No, that's not possible. Elena met his eyes. You threw me out into the rain, she said softly. And now you're standing in my house. Elena remembered sitting across from her biological father months earlier, shaking with fear. I never wanted your money, she told him. Richard had replied gently. I don't want to buy your loyalty. I want to protect your future. She had never imagined that future would arrive like this. Back in the present, the head lawyer cleared his throat. As of 9 minutes ago, Elena Pierce holds 51% controlling ownership of Blackwood Industries. Vanessa laughed hysterically. This is insane. She doesn't know how to run a mega corporation. Elena didn't answer her. She simply looked at Nathan. You said I was weak, she whispered. Let's see how strong you feel without my shadow holding you up. Nathan's legs shook. Vanessa slammed her hands on the table. This is my company. I built it with him. The lawyer corrected her instantly. You built influence. You did not build ownership. Vanessa's breathing turned sharp and shallow. Be honest. Comment what you think Elena should do to Nathan next. Like this video if you believe power should return to the betrayed. And share this story because it's about to turn brutal. Elena slowly walked to the head of the table, the founder's seat. Executives stood automatically. Nathan watched in horror as she sat down where Vanessa had ruled only minutes earlier. The lawyer placed a thin file in front of her. Your first action as majority owner, he asked respectfully. Elena opened the folder. Inside were termination protocols, suspension clauses, corporate eviction orders. Her hands trembled slightly. Not with fear. With memory. She remembered selling her jewelry to feed Nathan. She remembered covering his rent. She remembered how he looked at her when he first got the job at Blackwood, like she was finally worth something. Now, he couldn't meet her eyes. Elena lifted her gaze. Nathan Pierce, she said slowly, you are suspended effective immediately for ethical violations, betrayal of fiduciary loyalty, and abuse of authority. The words landed like a hammer. Nathan fell into a chair. I gave everything for this company, he whispered. Elena's voice didn't change. You gave everything except your character. Vanessa grabbed her purse in panic. This is illegal, she snapped. You can't just erase us. The head lawyer replied coldly. You've already been erased from strategic authority. Her office access was cut in real time. Phones buzzed. Security alerts flashed. Vanessa screamed. Nathan reached for Elena weakly across the table. Please, think about our child. Elena's hand moved protectively over her belly. That child will never beg for love, she said quietly. Security stepped closer. The head lawyer turned to Elena one last time. There is one remaining issue, he said. Your husband has housing and income tied to corporate privileges. Elena lifted her eyes. And? If you revoke them, he said carefully, he loses everything. Tonight. Elena inhaled slowly. Nathan's eyes filled with terror. Elena placed her signature pen against the page. And held it there. One stroke would decide whether Nathan walked out with dignity. Or with nothing at all. The boardroom was so quiet that Nathan's uneven breathing sounded like thunder. Elena's pen hovered over the page. One signature. One stroke. That was all it would take to erase the last piece of the life he had chosen over her. Nathan dropped to his knees. Please, he cried. I was blinded by success. By her. Don't make me homeless. I'll do anything. Vanessa screamed from the side of the room. Don't listen to him. He's weak. Elena closed her eyes for one long breath. Then she signed. The head lawyer spoke immediately. All corporate housing privileges, income access, and executive benefits for Nathan Pierce are revoked effective immediately. Nathan's phone buzzed violently. A notification from property management appeared on his screen. Notice of immediate eviction. Access terminated. His shoulders collapsed. It's over, he whispered. Security stepped in. They didn't drag him. They didn't push him. They simply guided him toward the door as a man with nothing left to fight for. Vanessa lunged after him. Wait. You can't leave me like this. He looked back at her one last time. You said you wanted a powerful man, he said bitterly. This is what you built. Security stopped her at the door. Her access badge flashed red. She was locked out too. Elena remembered the night she slept on the shelter couch, hugging her belly and whispering, "We will survive even if no one else chooses us." Tonight. She had kept that promise. 3 months later. Nathan slept in his car on the edge of the city. No job. No savings. No support. The world that once bowed to him would no longer say his name. Vanessa tried to fight the decisions in court. Every case failed. Richard Vale passed peacefully 2 weeks after Elena took control of the company. But his legacy lived on. In her. Elena stood on the balcony of a quiet coastal home in Oregon, holding her newborn son. The ocean moved calmly below. No chaos. No humiliation. No fear. Just freedom. She had lost a husband. But she had gained her life. Nathan chose power over love. Vanessa chose control over loyalty. And Elena chose herself and her child. Now it's your turn. Do you think Elena went too far by leaving Nathan with nothing? Or did he earn every part of his downfall? Drop your opinion in the comments. I read every one. If this story moved you, smash the like button. Share this story with someone who believes karma is real. And don't forget to click subscribe for more powerful stories like this.